Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Future Fridays as part of our Career Development Month series for the month of November. We have an exciting session planned for you guys this afternoon. Today, it's all about the job hunt. And we're going to be exploring job hunting techniques, how to increase your chances to getting the job that you want. I don't know if you all have ever heard your parents say you have to pound the pavement and send your resume out if you want to get that job interview. Well, is that even relevant today? I mean, what should we be doing now? How do we get to see all the job opportunities that are out there? Where should we even look? Well, don't worry, we have you guys covered this afternoon. We have our speaker, our guest speaker here this afternoon, Michelle Mulcare, and I'm going to introduce you to her by reading a quick bio. So Michelle Mulcare is a marketing and communication director with over 15 years experience in corporate communication, strategic marketing and planning, and managing large-scale investment projects. Michelle previously worked for Government Human Resource Services Company Limited for 5 years. Whilst there, she was instrumental in developing the company corporate responsibility program and the career development program, which consisted of workshops on resume writing, resume critiquing, job search techniques, dressing for success, and interview tips with mock interviews. Michelle also worked with all high commissions and embassies globally where Trinidad and Tobago had representatives. Michelle Company Limited was established since 2017 with the main objective being to develop young professionals in branding themselves effectively and being successful in their chosen careers. Michelle is a well-renowned trainer, facilitator, motivational speaker, and a career coach with over 1,000 professional events delivered locally, regionally, and internationally. Students and event organizers commend the relaxed, informative, and interactive style used by Michelle when delivering workshops, seminars, and conferences. Michelle's practical take on improving your brand you has encouraged individuals to immediately work on improving their career aspirations. Michelle builds long-standing relationships with her clients to enable them to call on her services as and when needed for interviews and workshops. Michelle's workshops are motivating, informative, and engaging. So we have with us here this afternoon, Michelle Mulcare, and she's going to be sharing with us all her intel on the job hunting process, where to look, how to get started, and how to improve your chances to get that job that you want. So let me turn you over to Michelle. Hi, Michelle, and let's give her a warm welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. I hope I'm here to address all your queries with job hunting. I'm here to help you feel more confident when you're job hunting and to take away the fear that people tend to have and to let you know that, yes, there are a lot of opportunities out there. Even through the pandemic, we need to still keep on applying and not to just give up, okay?
And we do have some questions coming in from students.
Okay.
Um, you talked a little bit about assessments
Mm-hmm.
and people and that being part of the selection process. And I can give a little anecdote. A few years ago, we had a very, you know, prestigious company, a company that a lot of people would want to work at, come to our recruitment fair, World of Work recruitment fair, and they really, really loved one of our students getting ready to graduate a little, a few months later. And part of the process was for them to do an assessment. And because they did not do the assessment, they did not get the job, right? I know we have our students here, everybody thinking tests, oh gosh, I didn't study, I didn't practice, and they tend to avoid it. But um, assessments really aren't tests in that traditional sense, in the sense of, you know, preparing. Some of it is personality assessments. And one of the questions was, can different types of assessments discriminate against potential candidates getting the job? And if so, what can be done to prevent this? So I don't know if you could shed some light on some of those types of a little bit more about what the assessment process is.
Okay, then no company is meant to discriminate, but that is giving you the proper terms. You know, everybody has some type of discrimination, but they're not meant to. What the test tends to do is meant to help eliminate people who are not serious about the position, who don't research the company, who are not prepared, and it guides you onto what the role will entail. So if you're going for an account position, of course they're going to give you bookkeeping or give you an account question to do. They want to know if you're methodical, are you organized? If you're going for a management or supervisory position, they may give you an intro test where they'll give you various works you have to do, different tasks, and want to see how you will prioritize. What would you see as important? Would it be going through your emails before dealing with the person, the customer who's at the desk? Because people, it happens when you go to organizations. Sometimes the phone's ringing and they leave the phone to ring, they're eating their lunch, and you see them eating their lunch, and you, the customer, is at the reception desk. So a lot of these things, the assessment is put in place to find out what your thought process are. How would you think? How would you prioritize? What would you see as an important? As I said, you'll have maths and English. The personality test will be to find out if you fit into the role. How would you be part of the team? Are you a person that has a very short attention span? And the team that you're going to work in are thinkers who are very creative, and they plan and they organize, and they're not action person. So they're the kind of things that people want to find out. If you're in HR, yes, you need to be action, but you need to think, you need to review, you need to research. So all these different skill sets, people want to know what type of personality you have. As I said, go online and practice. There's various assessments that you can do. There's a company called Ways, but I will say Google online psychometric testing. I wouldn't tell you to pay for any subscription for any companies. HR companies, we have to tend to pay. But I will say you can practice. If I have any examples that I can get, I will definitely share it with the career team that they can forward to the student, because I want people to be prepared. It's really quite annoying that we spend so much money applying for a position or advertising a job, and when people come to the interview process, they're not prepared to do the assessment, and then we have to go back to recruit because we don't have anybody that are able to do the job. So think about the employer as well. They don't want to do that. They want to find the right candidate. So it's about you selling yourself, promoting yourself for the job, having the right fit, looking at the keywords that they use that you can highlight in your resume that you could talk about in your interview, and practice. Maths is not my forte. That's why you can tell I'm doing marketing and stuff like that. But I worked in accounts. I got a job with payroll, and I had to do a test. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to get this job. But I did my best and it worked. So I got the job and I enjoyed it. Right. So sometimes think out of the box. Just apply for that job, but think when you're applying what skills that you have, and it could work for you. But just prepare yourself for an assessment. Once you prepare yourself, don't be too frightened. Or if they say in the interview you'll have an assessment, ask them what would it entail, so at least you know before you go for the interview.
Right. And I think the key takeaway from your answer, Michelle, is that students kind of have to put it in their mind, prepared to be assessed, prepared to be tested. Another company, a tech company, also talked about doing whiteboard interviews, which has a testing component to it as well. And it's quite popular among tech companies. I know it's popular abroad. This is a tech company here in Trinidad, and they do that type of interview, which is they ask the students or the potential candidate questions, and it's a conversation, but they also have a whiteboard where they put questions down on the whiteboard, and they really are trying to assess the student's ability to problem solve by
Mm-hmm.
having that question on the whiteboard and seeing how they break down, how they conclude, how they come to the conclusion, the answer. So it's part of the process, students. So start, once you know, and I think this is the key to these sessions, being informed. so that you're aware. And so it's not going to be something that's going to cause too much anxiety because, hey, you heard it from us here in the session, like prepared to be tested. It's a it's a possibility. I can say to get my job here at UE, I had to take a test as well. So it's part of the process.
Can I just add something there, Nandi?
Sure, not a problem.
Internationally, I know because of the pandemic, it kind of slowed down. But one of the things they do a lot is take you out for lunch or dinner, and they'll be testing you there. So as I said, yes, you have the telephone interview is a test. So please be mindful. It's also assessment of how you communicate, how you respond to questions. The going out to lunch is not about ordering up the biggest steak. It's about being able to talk and being able to promote yourself with and sell the key points of view. But you are being assessed. Believe me, anytime you have that connection or that engagement, think about being assessed. And sometimes going for the jobs that are worth working for, and maybe it's permanent, long lasting, good perks, are the ones that you're going to be tested. So, yeah.
Yes, definitely. Those coveted positions. So another question that came in from one of our students, a really good one. If I don't have any contacts, how could I compete with someone who does? So you pointed out that networking is a key part of it, especially locally and regionally. I don't know if you have any advice to give for that person and other people who might be thinking it.
Okay. I used to live abroad, and then when I came back to Trinidad, or when I was thinking to come back to Trinidad, I was told you're not going to get a job unless a certain political party is in power. I'm not going to go into details. I'm so determined. I love a challenge. So the people that were telling me that, I put in my mindset, you know what? I really want this. And I changed how I applied for jobs. I used to get up. I used to live in London. Yes, I'm from Trinidad and London. I used to live in London. I used to get up around 3 o'clock every morning. And I had a very high profile job in London as well, which was very, very stressful. But my aim was to always come back to Trinidad and give back to where I grew up. So I used to apply for jobs. I kept on applying. I did my online interview and I did my online assessment. And I had to also talk about the vision. I think it was 2020 or 2030 or some vision 2020. I had to talk about in my interview. I had to research it and do it as part of the assessment. So sometimes you just have to just go out there, just, as I say, aim for it. Don't give up. Go out, think out of the box, apply. And Nan, do you ask something else as well?
Just in terms of not having any contacts,
right? Okay.
I guess somebody who probably is now setting out to network, where would they start?
Right. As I said, I didn't have any contacts, and I was hearing that you need to know somebody to get a job. I didn't know anyone. I just clicked online, applied for jobs, looked at the newspaper online. I wasn't actually in the country. And I contacted a lot of the things, the information you're seeing on the presentation I did is firsthand experience. Even one of the projects I'm working on currently, I actually gave the job to one of my friends to do. I don't know why this has come up. Sorry. I was given that job for one of my friends to apply. And they were not interested. And I was like, why are they not interested? I thought this was the type of job you wanted. And I applied and I got it. As I said, make your own contacts. Know where you want to work. Call up the HR companies. Build a relation. Let them know your name. I wouldn't say stalk them, but contact them regularly. Let them know this is the type of job that I want to apply for. Get that name person. Make that connection. Find out. Make your own connection. And sometimes it's coming out of your comfort zone. People won't believe, but sometimes I'm very shy. Come out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Think about what you want. Think of the perks. Think out there. Your wildest dream. Where would you want to work? And do the steps. It could be 1 to 10. How am I going to get there? And you will get there. Persistency helps. Making the new contacts. It's fun making new contacts, letting them know what they can get from you. So you don't need to know everyone, because even if you have contacts, you don't want nobody to think you owe them something. I got the job. You got the job because of me. Yeah, I gave you the job. I gave you the contact. So sometimes making that new connection is better than relying on people you know. Then that is my personal perception.
Right. So this is sort of a related
Mhm.
question. A student asking, how to go about networking or cold calling and forming relationships to persons, particularly if you are introverted or, well, they're saying they're, lacking personality, but, I guess on the shy side, how, how would they, any tips or any advice on how to go about reaching out to persons? Should we, or even cold calling
Mhm.
individuals? What does that look like?
I would say if you're really, really an introvert and you don't even want to call to talk to people, you hear people talking about the keyboard warriors? Apply online. Go on LinkedIn, set up your profile, send your resume. So then you're going through the process and you may not be even called for you may not have to interact with somebody until you're the interview stage. Yeah. So you could do that consistently. Apply online, do the assessment online, and only when you come for the interview, they actually see you, right? But if you want to take a brave move, pick up the phone, call them. They don't know you, they don't see you. So that's the benefits of cold calling. Give it your best shot, right? Yes, they could sound busy, but then if you think they're too busy, still make a lasting impression. Say, I'm calling to find out, where do you advertise? I'm keen to work for your company. Massage the company's ego. Let them know that you've always wanted to work there. And you may have an employee who's looking to get out and say, look, you can come and take my job, and we'll tell you and help you as much as possible. Yeah. But try it. Again, if you're an introvert, you could maybe try one call and then you keep on increasing your calls, increasing the various company. Or alternatively, just to keep on applying online via LinkedIn, via the online companies, contacting the agencies, the recruitment agencies, may scan you and maybe meet you once and will submit you for various jobs. Not all of them charge. Eve Anderson, do not charge. I don't want to promote anyone. I don't think PMSL, but I don't want to promote any one particular company because I'm not representative of one or any. So just call the company that you find that you can build a relationship with who could help you find a job and ask them how many jobs have you found for a person in that position, for project manager position, for instance? How many employees did you actually submit for that position? How many were successful in getting the jobs? Because some companies like Shell, BP, um, some of them advertise with recruitment agencies, so it may not even be in the newspaper. They will tend to put it online on their website, and they will put it through a recruitment agency to deal with the recruitment process. So hence why I say look at recruitment companies, look at the LinkedIn pages. It really does help. Yeah.
Okay, I actually had a question, my own question, with
Mhm.
regards to recruitment agencies and just
Mhm.
that whole process. I mean, is it something that you think it's a must, that students, or recent graduates should do as part of their job hunting process? How often, okay, somebody just came in and I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
But I guess just the process of going to a recruitment firm. I know you said some of them don't charge. Is Does a cost come up at some point? Maybe if they're successful in finding that job for you, does the cost come up there? Like,
Mhm.
how does that work?
Some of them will have a process to register, a registration fee, or some of them, when you get the job, they may take a percentage of your salary, your first salary, or depending on the arrangement they make. When I was looking for work, I wanted to cross all borders. So it was, look, this is my checkbox, applying in the newspapers, looking at trade journals, joining the recruitment agencies, going online. To be honest, I thought online was the best one, and the newspapers, especially reading the Sunday newspaper at the back. You'll be amazed how many jobs actually advertised there. Don't just look at the career days in the newspaper. Look throughout the week. That's why I say get a job alert or get the subscription that you could view all the newspapers. I would say yes, at least have two recruitment agencies. Some of them are just not worth it, to be honest. But as I said, I would let the young professionals find out for themselves which one works for them, because my experience may be different to others. Try not to pay for any. Find out, is there a fee? As I said, there is some of them do charge a fee at some point. Some of them don't have any jobs. They just don't have any, and will say we haven't had any jobs in that position for a while. But then sometimes they may get that one connection. So what I used to do every Monday morning, I will call a certain agency and a lady, and we built a relationship. And I said, look, I'm looking for this type of role. I'm looking for a marketing role. And some of the salary scale was really really low and depressing when she told me, but I still kept on saying, look, do you have anything? And I actually did a position for her, a short-term contract where the salary wasn't the best, but I showed that I was willing. And I'm telling you, we built a relationship, and any opportunities now, she looks for me. And she, even though I don't need anything at the moment, she might say, Michelle, I have this opportunity, are you interested? Or do you know anyone that's interested? And it really helps. And I love to recommend people that I come into connection with, especially young professionals, people who's now graduating, people who's looking for work, people who I know have families and need that opportunity. I love helping them and promoting them. So this is how you gain connections as well. Yeah.
Okay. And so you mentioned trade journals.
Mhm.
I don't know if you have, where do you find trade journals? I mean,
Mhm.
I tend to see them like on coffee tables in waiting
Yeah.
rooms sometimes, but I mean, do they have them online? What trade journals do you recommend?
Yes, they have them online. You have HR magazines, like, and I recommend Who's Who in Business. I tend to, when I did the workshop, I always used to have free copies that I will give out to the student. But you can get it online, and especially young people, they don't want the bother of hard copies. They want things that are online. So if I had it as part of my link, Who's Who um, in Business Trinidad and Tobago. They also have Who's Who in Business Barbados. They also have it for Guyana, St. Lucia. So wherever you're in the Caribbean, if they don't have it, contact the people and let them know, here what? I can help you know who's who in business in Dominica. You don't have it. Again, you're putting yourself to create a job for yourself as well. You're creating that connection. So trade journals, if there's not one, find out how you could use one, how you can create one. But most professional organizations have one. As I said, there's HR Insight, there's project managers, trade journals, there's marketing magazine, a lot of the chartered institutes, and again, this is sometimes a bit international, or the architects, they have their own magazines that they have online. They have the debates, they have the topics, they have the articles. You could write an article, you could write your experience. Again, you're building your profile, your name, your connection. Yeah, so yes, you see on coffee tables, pick it up, read it. Some of them have not been renewed since 2016, right? But they are online because print is kind of going out because of the cost. So a lot of the trade journals are now online. Go on Google, contact the university, the careers department, they could help you. Go in Who's Who, it's got a list of different ministries, different companies. You can go on Connect, TT Connect as well. There's a magazine called Connect as well. And again, you're finding out different information. Keep abreast of articles. It advertises the jobs in the trade journal. It advertises what's going on. So when you come for the interview, you're already ahead of the game. You know what is the key topic that you could debate, you could talk about, you could just, show that you have knowledge and awareness of in your interview. Right?
Okay, great. Good tips, guys. I hope you are taking notes. So you talked a bit about internationally, and I know because of COVID, we kind of have our sights on international opportunities, remote working, and that type of thing. A student has asked how to find international jobs if your dream field is not prevalent locally. Do you have any online site, etc.? So I guess
Mhm,
answering that question and maybe just speaking
mhm,
generally to international opportunities that might be open
mhm.
to those of us who are situated here.
Okay. On my job links page, this page that I did, it has a lot of the international ones at the bottom of the screen regionally. But I will tell you as well, you have monster.com. They have a lot of jobs. They have for Europe and they also have for America. You have Indeed. Glassdoor.com. That's again using Europe. Glassdoor.com. And a lot of these sites also have some career tips as well. They have good career articles and they have jobs that are current. I One of the things I also used to do with Google is put the type of jobs I'm looking for, marketing jobs in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I used to look and see the various companies that sometimes were not advertising online. So again, if it's in France, if it's in Italy, in America, you can go on Google and put up, and it could show you if it's via a online agency or if you could apply direct. Also, one of the things I used to do, and one of the things I recommend, is applying to the company. So, like American Airlines, I have a alert for American Airlines. So, various managerial jobs they will send me. Sometimes they send me jobs that is not in my field, but it's a job alert. But make sure that your profile is correct or up to date. Be as wide as possible, because what they will do is try and fit you jobs that you put in your profile that would be interested. So if you're looking, you can look for international jobs sitting right here. And I can give you first-hand experience. Nandi, I think I've spoken to you about this. My daughter did languages and she applied from here and applied for various jobs. Internationally from here. So it can be done. I know students who are here and are in Italy or in America. So don't think because you're here, you can't apply for jobs internationally. You definitely can. And I definitely ask you to try. And you could, as I said, you could always contact me after. You can contact the careers department. I'll be happy to assist you as much as possible, reviewing or helping you in that process.
And I guess my thinking with international jobs, I know it's easier for Caribbean people to move throughout CARICOM, right? But I'm just wondering, do international jobs do would they state maybe if it's open to beyond their borders, or is it that you sort of have to have those things in place, whether you have, legal residency or dual citizenship or anything like that?
Sometimes they won't state it, but there was a program. I'm not too sure if it's still open, but Germany was had a large recruitment drive. The German embassy is right opposite St. Clair Medical. You could either well, I would say go online. I wouldn't say visit them right now, but they had a real recruitment drive, and you didn't need to speak German. They were trying to get people over there. Canada is another one who has a big, again, drive, because they're trying to get graduates over to Canada to do jobs that local Canadians are not doing. They will tend to tell you about the visa requirement, especially if you're going for work, education. It is better that you make sure that you get the right visa. You don't want to go abroad to any country and be an illegal alien or a legal immigrant, because it causes problems. And it also doesn't show honesty and integrity when you're applying for position. Think about your career and where you want to go. So definitely look at the requirements. Call the embassy, find out about them. The nurses as well. There was a recruitment drive for nurses. Whichever country you want to go in, find out about what the requirements are for students or to work. I would do for both. Find out as well, as a student, would you be able to work part-time to finance your course? Because even if you receive a scholarship, a lot of times there are some scholars in England that didn't were not able to function financially because the scholarship wasn't covering everything, or there was a delay in receiving the scholarship. So a lot of times they were trying to get jobs part-time. So find out if you could work part-time, how many hours can you work on campus, especially if it's in America. What can you do and what can't you do? Call the embassy. A lot of things are online because of the pandemic. You'd be amazed. So look online for the various countries, look at the embassies, look at requirements, and just do it. Don't just restrict yourself to one country, right? If you have the thought process, you want to go regionally or go international, apply to more than one country. If you have that process that I want to live abroad, you will do it. I looked at Jamaica, I looked at St. Lucia, I looked at Barbados, and believe me, I can live in all those countries because I'm willing to be flexible, and you can still have a good way, a good way of life. So don't just limit yourself to one country. If you have the encouragement to go abroad, go for it. Just try. because you have a lot of experience. Don't limit. I always tell people, don't limit your dreams. Make it happen. Set a goal. What may not be needed here may be needed in another country. Yeah, especially in the oil and gas field. A lot of the people that were working here, and I know personally in Phoenix Gas, have gone to Iowa, I've gone to Texas, I've gone to New York, I've gone to Nigeria. So again, that just shows you Trinidadians or regional people can go anywhere in the world. Do not limit yourself to one country.
So Michelle, the students, they're really appreciating your feedback on reading the comments. Um, can I share your contact information, your email
Definitely.
address
Yes, you can.
in the chat so that they can
Of
reach
course
out
you
to
can.
you? Okay,
Definitely.
awesome. So because people are really looking for jobs, sometimes we can get sucked into maybe something that's not legitimate, so one of the questions is on the job hunting sites, what are some of the things to look out for that can tell apart a legitimate job opportunity from a well-placed scam? Any tips there?
When they're asking you to come and pay for something, when they're telling you to send your picture, be mindful, do your research the company, go and visit the company. Don't tell them you're coming, drive by the company and look, make a call to find out about the company, do your research, do they have a website, do they have a social media pattern, read reviews. Just like if you're going to a hotel or you're going on a vacation, we tend to read the reviews. Do it for jobs, look at the comments that they may have, look at the media releases. Is it positive, is it negative? Why do you want to work there? But don't be too reliant on that, because somebody bad experience could be your positive experience. But you want to be mindful of companies that are scamming you. Please do not pay for anything, especially as students. I've been there, right? We don't have much money when you're a student, right? So you want to keep what you have. So be mindful. Don't pay for anything. Do your research beforehand. That 5 minute research, and we do it on our phone. We have a smartphone. There's no excuse. It's not that you have to get home to put on your laptop to do your research. You can do it on your phone. I do it. It's traffic. I don't tell you to do it while you're in traffic, but like if you're in a taxi, you do your little research on your phone instead of being on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok. Spend that time investing in you, right? Do a TikTok saying, "Hey, I need a job," and be creative, but different ways. Think about what you're doing. Think about how you're connecting with people. Make it last. Make it important. Make it useful.
Yeah, and I would add, if it seems too good to be true, it probably
Yeah.
is. And we had a session being safe in the online space
Mm-hmm.
earlier this week. So students, you all could look out for that session. Um, Sorry, something distracted me. But students, you can look out for that session. We're going to place a recording. Plus, we had a session last year, similarly discussing how to avoid scams. So you can check that out on our YouTube channel as well. Right.
Yeah,
So, be careful, do your
definitely.
research. And just like
Mhm.
Michelle said, if they're asking for money up front, if they're asking for your photos, you definitely want to say that raises alarm bells, right? So we had another question from a student.
Mhm.
What should you do when a company makes you a job offer but does not follow up? Any advice there where that is concerned?
That tends to be happening now quite a lot. And the reason being is the climate change, the financial commitment. Sometimes, for instance, if it's a public sector position, maybe they haven't got approval for the position or they don't have the budget to fund the position. That's why I tell students, not just students, every individual, do not leave your job or give your resignation letter until you've got the contract. You review the contract they've given you an offer. Verbal doesn't mean anything. They can call you and say, yes, we give you the job, but wait until you get that letter confirming the position, giving you the contract, you review the contract and you signed it and the acceptance, that is when you will give your resignation letter. If they turn down and they don't commit, call them and ask them. Be a bit persistent. Do you know? But be professional, because I know it could be traumatizing. Be professional and say, well, you know how much longer, and you're really anxious to work in a job, and you're making arrangements to terminate where you are. Be mindful, be professional. Let them show that you're keen. You're willing to maybe work flexible hours, if so they could take you on. Find out what is the reason. Is there anything that you could do to help the process? Just try and be open with them, but keep looking. As I tell people, until you've given that contract, or until you started the role and you're happy within the role, keep looking. You could be in a job and still looking, keeping your options open. So still be persistent, but definitely find out why they're not committed. And if it is financial, if it's the job's no longer there, say thank you, please keep me on file. I'm still interested, but keep looking. But be mindful about working there. When they decide that they want to take on more employees, I will think twice, because, why weren't you able to commit? When you're advertising a job, you should already discuss the budget, get the necessary approval. But I know things happen, it's human nature. Sometimes people are not organized in that way. But that is the normal practice. Before you advertise a job, there should be a job, there should be the salary scale available, you should have the finance to fund the position, you should have the work for the person to do. So we have to be mindful, be flexible, but show keen, but keep looking.
Awesome, great advice. And another question that came out from this one is, as a recent graduate, should we negotiate our contracts, or should we take what is being offered to us?
Just because you're a recent graduate doesn't mean to say you should just take anything. And people seem to think, because you're a recent graduate, we can put it on the lowest scale. You came with something, they want you. You can negotiate. Be mindful what you're negotiating. Is it worth negotiating before, or is it after you're in the position? It's usually harder to negotiate when you're in the position, because they'll say you're already doing the job. So if you know they really want you, but you still have to be mindful, because they can then go to the second best person that came through in the interview. So is it worth negotiating? Is it the salary? Is it moving up the scale, an incremental scale? Is it the location? Is it the compensation package? What are you negotiating? You need to know to yourself, is it important? Do I want to still be out there in the job hunting world looking? Do I want to wait, or do I want to give this job a try? Don't just negotiate for negotiating's sake. Negotiate for a reason, and have it written down. Know what limits you're willing to take when you're negotiating.
Right. And students, I mean, we want to do a session that's devoted to negotiating contracts and contracts in general. Um, so in the future, maybe in semester 2, we might be able to offer that to you guys. But a little bit of information there from Michelle, where contracts and being a recent graduate, you can you know, negotiate, the terms and conditions. Another question that came forward is, would it be appropriate to ask for a job at an organization you are volunteering at? And how would you go about appropriately asking without sounding desperate?
Definitely. Oh my gosh. This is what I've been trying to encourage the climate. Every time I meet young professionals or people on the whole, volunteer. Just because you're not getting paid a salary doesn't mean to say you shouldn't get involved, because they already know you. So talk to the supervisor, talk to the manager, and let them know, look, I'm looking for work. If any opportunity arise, I'll be interested. I already have a first-hand experience and I enjoy it. I want to be a permanent employee, or I want to be part of the organization. So definitely, I would say you would even be given a little preferential treatment. I know I shouldn't say that, but because you've got first-hand experience, it's less training they may have to give you. You already know the organization, you know the culture, you know what it's about, the ethos, what the vision, the mission, you're involved. You're doing it for free. So if you're doing it for free, you're more than likely want to do it for a salary. You want it to be part of your career. So let them know, look, First time I'm already in here, I want this to be part of my career. I want to work here and give back to the organization. Definitely, please, you're volunteering, first hand experience, definitely talk to someone. You can talk to the HR, talk to the person that makes decisions, right? Again, remember what I said about being professional, the elevator pitch, knowing what you want to ask, yeah, knowing how to ask, knowing the time. Don't be asking when you know the person's busy running out the door, right? Ask them when you could see that they have time, and say, please, I don't want to disturb you, have that introduction and let them know I'm really keen to work for your organization. Massage the company's ego. People want to know you want to work for them. Everybody wants to feel good about themselves, good about where they're working. You actually think about what made you volunteer for that organization. That is important. What decision made you volunteer for it? It would be the same decision that will make you want to work there. So definitely go for it.
Okay, so I have a question. I'm not sure what's the context, so maybe the person asking might be able to provide a little bit more information. Um, how do you answer the question? How do you deal with repetition at a job interview? So I'm not sure. I guess maybe if the maybe having to do the same thing over and over again, I'm thinking maybe if it maybe that's the type of job it is, so they want to kind of get a feel for if you're the type of person who needs, how would you deal with something like, how would you answer a question like that? It's kind of very specific.
So let me just confirm, is it that they're asking the question over and over again? It's like repeating it, or
I would
is it the
say I think it's connected to the role. I
the
think it's
role
connected to
is
the role.
repetitive? Well, then that would mean it is a lot. It's a priority of the role, and it's going to be something, is the key element of the position. So it could be like doing cashiering, it's going to be having to um, do the books every afternoon. So they may repeat that in their interview to find out, do you have the experience? Are you able to do it? So when they're drilling down, because what employers will tend to do when they're interviewing you, they want to know your technical experience, your knowledge, and your ability to do the task. So they may drill down and find out more. So you said you've got experience doing this. Tell us more about it. This is what the job entails. How do you think about doing this every day? Because you want to know the person will be committed to the position and they're not going to get bored, especially, when some tasks come on, it could be very boring. It's something you're doing every day, but it has to be done because it's an important function. So it could be like, when you're doing marketing, you have to have Monday morning meetings, briefings. People don't like it because you may have had a busy weekend, but it's important. So at least you could plan for the whole week, look at the projects coming in, and you could allocate it to a person. And sometimes you have to keep on drilling down to say, look, this is going to be key. We need to do this. This is a checklist. And sometimes staff may not like it, but that is an important function of the role. So interviewers sometimes will want to highlight to you, this is what it's going to be like. So they will set the scenario and they will keep on asking you that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't
Anything
see
else?
any more. Okay, I was now going to say there were no more questions, but one just popped up. I see it in the chat.
Mhm.
Let's say you have, so this is how the question goes. Let's say you have applied or you applied for a position you think is ideal, but haven't gotten the call yet. But a recent job position contacted you ready to give you an offer, and it's not quite your first choice.
Um,
What would you do? Would you wait for the
uh,
other call? How would
Gosh,
you handle that? It's a tough question. It's a
that,
tough dilemma to be in.
yeah, it's a really tough dilemma.
It's a good problem.
I, yeah, God, I love that problem, but still, I would contact the company, the ideal job, and ask them how soon they think they might make a decision. You don't want to put pressure on them, but you want to show that you're keen, and you don't want to tell them about another job because it could work two ways for you. They could say, "Well, go ahead, go for that job," and then you lose out on the opportunity, and you maybe was the first candidate they would have selected. So I wouldn't tell them about the next job offer. I know people that have done that in the past, and it's gone terribly wrong. Um, I would find out about how soon they're going to make an offer, and I will take the first job that's offered to me and try and make it work for me, because you just don't know how long the next job's going to take. And maybe if it comes along, I don't want to tell you what to do, but you have to think about your lifestyle, your career, the job that you're doing. Is it going to fit your needs? And make the decision you need to make for yourself. But I will take the job that comes along. If you have an opportunity there, you don't want to turn it down for one that may be, and you don't know. It's ideal for you, but are you ideal for the employer? That's what you have to be mindful
Right.
of.
So I think we are pretty much wrapping up. We have an evaluation that we are sharing in the chat, students. We would really appreciate your feedback. Um, it means a lot to us, and it's not going to take very long. It's just going to take a few minutes. Super easy, super easy. It's not like a test, promise. So y'all could go ahead and fill out that evaluation. And also, this is our Career Development Month series. We have different workshops on Tuesdays, Fridays, plus we have our World of Work workshops on Thursdays. So you want to look out for more information on what we're coming up with next, because we do have a lot of interesting and fun things, fun topics, well, relevant topics planned for you guys. So next week, Friday, we're going to be looking at LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn video that we have been sharing, which will be really great for you all to look at and follow, because it's going to help prepare you for the LinkedIn workshop next week, Friday. So we've been circulating that among students in preparation for our LinkedIn workshop on Friday. So we have a video already. Watch it. It talks about how to create, how to get started on LinkedIn. And then our workshop on Friday, it follows up on that. So you definitely don't want to miss it. LinkedIn is a key part of the job hunting process, and you want to make sure that your profile is ready to go and employers are ready to meet you in the online space. We also have workshops on Tuesdays. Next week, Tuesday, you all should get some communication very soon about next week, Tuesday. We have professionals coming in to share about their career journeys, and some of these professions may be really interesting to you all, their path. Not everybody's path is a straight shot. Lots of people work outside of their degree. Lots of people switch careers, make transitions, 5 years in, 6 years in. So you want to hear about that and the advice that they have to share, that they've learned along the way to build the career that they have going for them. So you definitely want to look out for that information. We also have our interview preparation workshop. This is for our World of Work students, our final year students, and our second year students who are on the WOW Fast Track. We have an interview preparation workshop next week, Thursday, and it's all about how to prepare for the interview. So Michelle kind of gave you a little bit of information, but we're going to go into a deep dive with interview preparation next week, Thursday. So you definitely want to look out for that as well. Guys, we have got you covered. Trust me, attend our workshops. Try to attend as much as possible so you can get your questions in, so you can get the contacts, email for our presenters. That's only if you come to these sessions. We don't share that in our video presentations, but come to these sessions is really going to help you to prepare for that transition into the workplace once you all are graduating. If you all are not graduating, you all are continuing, you all have advanced warning, you're getting all the information, all the intel. So again, sharing our evaluation link in the chat. Please take a minute to complete. We would really appreciate your feedback. It helps us as we plan in the future. And I just want to say a very warm thank you to Michelle for coming here and sharing with us all her knowledge, all her expertise from her experience as a person who has job hunted in the past, and as somebody who's in the field as a consultant, as a career development coach. We really appreciate you, Michelle, there's fire all over the all over the chat, right? Everybody just giving you
Really,
props,
thank
okay?
you. Thank
So
you.
they really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank
Not
you.
a problem. We loved having you, and we look forward to whatever in the future
Definitely.
holds in terms of working together. And everyone, good afternoon. Have a great evening. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. And we are finished for this afternoon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.